Some roads are made for experiencing an awesome road trip. Some roads are made for riding a motorcycle. But it's not only the road that is responsible for an unforgettable road trip. The Skyline Drive is the only road through Shenandoah National Park and a must-visit when visiting Virginia. But I had to first overcome many obstacles before I was rewarded with the perfect view. A trip on the Skyline Drive to the iconic town Harpers Ferry. What happened in the last episode? After an awesome ride through West Virginia, I met motorcyclist Brett, who guided me to his hometown in Virginia and wanted to take me on the roads of the MABDR, the Mid-Atlantic Backcountry Discovery Route. But instead of discovering the dirt roads of the area, I was stuck in the village Warm Springs due to heavy rainfalls. Eventually, I had to give up the plan of riding the MABDR, because I had an appointment I had to catch in order to continue my journey. And so I left Warm Springs in the pouring rain. Good morning, everyone. Now I'm on the bike in my rain gear because the weather is not so good and is supposed to get even worse. And once you have on the rain gear and are on a motorcycle, I actually always don't find it so bad anymore. But today I'm not so enthusiastic because I don't expect any good weather anywhere, but still I feel like I need to continue because I already waited for the rain to pass now for 2 days. I was heading to Waynsboro in Virginia, to Wayne's cycle shop that I called a few days before in order to get a new rear tire. But my mood dropped even further when it really started to pour down before I could even reach Wayne's. Yes, it's really raining now, and actually I don't know about the rest of the day and what to do with it if the weather stays like this. Maybe I just stay somewhere close to Wayne's. Getting closer now to the shop. I mean, I was only riding for 1.5 hours and I'm completely wet and cold. I have no heated handlebars on this bike and only summer gloves, and this actually the first time I really realized this, because on my other bike I have a heated handlebar and here not, and it's so cold. There's the service entry.
They'll actually come right over here and get it. If you can park it anywhere and they'll come get it.
Okay.
I love your bike.
Oh, I love it too. I just parked here for a second.
Oh yeah. Come on in.
Hello.
How you doing?
Oh, cool. Are you?
Fine, I can help you.
I have an appointment at 9. I bought tires and I'm here to get them changed.
I think this is Leah.
Yeah. Hi. Nice to meet you. Terrible weather today, but I just arrived after 1.5 hours riding in the rain at Wayne's cycle shop, where I will get new tires and an oil change. So that's awesome. Now I'm waiting and then we will see. If it doesn't stop, I might not go very far today. Wayne's Cycle Shop is an iconic motorcycle workshop and store in Waynsboro in Virginia. My guess is that every biker in the surrounding has at least been to Wayne's Cycle Shop once. And at least everyone I talked to knew Wayne's Cycle Shop immediately. So that's Wayne's Cycle Shop. The best one in Virginia, everyone says. The service and the tire change is finished, and I actually was so cold this morning because I have no heated handlebars here on this bike, which I have on all my other bikes, and I still think they're lifesavers. But because of that, I now bought new gloves to keep my hands dry and a little bit warmer. After waiting for about an hour, the service for my tannery and my tire change were completed, and I was ready to hit the road again. The only problem was that I didn't know exactly where to go due to the pouring rain. Until 15 minutes ago, I didn't know exactly what to do today because pretty close to here is the so-called Skyline Drive, which is a very iconic road that goes through the Shenandoah National Park. And I of course want to do it, but the weather sucks so much, and I as well know that in weather like this, even taking videos is difficult because you guys don't see anything in the wet and rain. And but I'm all dressed up now, so I will go anyways, and I hope that maybe we get through the clouds when riding up the mountains and maybe have a better view there. Tell me that you're sorry, my cold shoulder is yours since we're over. See, you got what you asked. I got wind, I got wind, I got wind. This is the start of the park. You have to pay an entrance fee at this booth, and my mood is actually much better now, so I hope the weather will clear up at least a little bit to fit to my mood. Before heading into the park, I first had to ride back to the last village though, because I found out that there are no gas stations inside the park if I would complete all the 115 miles of the Skyline Drive. So, second attempt. Now I'm really going into the park, and even though I don't see much, I'm still very excited, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this I think is the first national park of this East Coast journey. I had hoped for some better views the higher I climbed the mountains of the Skyline Drive, but unfortunately the opposite was the case. The further I traveled, the more foggy it got. Yeah, I have to admit that the view is definitely not optimal today. Unfortunately, it's actually very foggy, and I can't even imagine how beautiful this would be without the fog and without all the rain. I am on the Skyline Drive, and unfortunately the weather is horrible. It's raining all day. The view is like this. I think normally it's super nice views here, and I already did, I think, half of it, which is about 45-50 miles, and soon I will try to find an accommodation. It's cold, rainy, and not nice at all. Let's continue. I think there are a handful of accommodations inside the national park, and I will just head to the next two and hope that one of them has a room available. Wow, I nearly crashed into a deer. Oh my god. Wow. Look, there they are. Completely dangerous in the fog. I didn't see them at all. Like, literally, always be careful in the fog. Luckily, I was approaching the hotel, but the view got worse and worse, until I could barely see 2 meters ahead of me. I'm pretty close now to the first hotel that I want to check out, and this view has been the worst today. I can't even see 3 meters ahead of me. And yeah, wow, I really have to ride super careful here. And I feel like meanwhile the cold and wet crawled under my suit and my hands are like ice cubes even with the new waterproof gloves. I'm really ready for a shower. There are 5 designated campgrounds in the Shenandoah National Park, 2 places that offer stays in rustic cabins and 2 lodges. One of them is Big Meadows Lodge that I just approached, but unfortunately I was not very lucky when asking for a room to get out of my cold and wet clothes as quick as possible. I was so ready to stop here. I'm so cold and wet, but they have no check-in yet, only in 2 hours, and I don't want to wait that long in my wet things. So I'm heading to the next place, which is supposed to be half an hour from here. And fingers crossed that they have a room. I am back on the bike, and even though the lodges kind of belong together, they couldn't tell me in the Big Meadows Lodge if they have free rooms in the next one. So I hope that I don't go there for nothing. Literally, only thing I want at the moment is a hot shower. Here it is, a promising name. The lodge is called Skyland. So now, guys, please cross your fingers. I need this room and a hot shower so much now. And guess what? I was lucky and was able to get a room with an awesome view at the Skyland Lodge. So this is the view from my room. Oh my god, I just woke up and went out of my room, and yesterday I didn't see anything of the view, and look at this, there is a view. We are kind of like on the top of a mountain, we have a view, and I hope it will stay like this and we will see a little bit more today than yesterday. The Skyland Lodge is indeed a historic icon of the Shenandoah National Park. The lodge was established in 1888 as the perfect spot for a vacation retreat, and today it houses rooms in 28 separate buildings along the ridge and in the wooded areas surrounding the top of the Skyline Drive at mile markers 41 and 42. At 3,680 feet, Skyland provides breathtaking views of the picturesque Shenandoah Valley from many rooms. There are many hiking trails that are easy to access close to the lodge, and all in all, it's a pretty good base for your Shenandoah National Park adventure or your road trip on the Skyline Drive. I think one reality of motorcycle travel is that if it rains for 2 days, like the last 2 days, or if it pours for 2 days, you feel like it has been raining for ages because everything gets so wet and it's cold, and then the sun shines and you feel like you have not seen the sun since months and you need it so much. And now the sun came through the clouds. Right on time for the party. And another reality is that my helmet smells moldy and wet because I think it has not really dried the last 2 or 3 days. And well, I mean, I tried to dry it, I put it next to the heat, but it still smells a little bit. What a difference a day makes. Wow, I'm so happy today. You guys have no clue. And because we missed all the nice views here in the national park yesterday, I hope I can show you at least some today. The Skyline Drive runs 105 miles or 169 kilometers from south to north along the crest of the Blue Ridge Mountains in the Shenandoah National Park. It is the only public road through the park and therefore a beloved place to visit for outdoor enthusiasts and people who do a road trip through the state Virginia. And finally I was able to see why the area is a national park and why it is famous for its views. So guys, because I didn't stop at any overlooks yesterday, and no, that's actually not true, I stopped at 3 overlooks yesterday, but you couldn't see anything. So because you couldn't see anything yesterday, I have kind of like a overlook guilt today and feel like I need to stop everywhere here on the way. to look at the landscape because I didn't see anything yesterday. It's absolutely lovely now. It got a bit more cloudy again, but nothing compared to yesterday. So now I'm basically just enjoying the ride. Let's turn off here. I think it's nearly the end of the park and it looks like there's a visitor center. So maybe we can learn a bit more before we leave the park. The Dickey Ridge Visitor Center is located at the north end of Shenandoah National Park. And besides of a little shop with books and souvenirs, you can as well learn about the flora and fauna of the park. All good things eventually come to an end, and I'm happy that this ride through the park turned out to be so good in the end and not only stay like yesterday. And yeah, now what is next? I have already my next destination in mind and I think you guys will like it. After leaving the Skyline Drive in Shenandoah National Park, I decided to stay on rather small roads that took me from the state Virginia back to the state West Virginia. West Virginia has, in my opinion, and I hope I don't offend anyone, has the weirdest shape. I mean, I've been crossing from Virginia to West Virginia now how many times? 3 times? Maybe 4 times? Anyways, West Virginia's shape is definitely more interesting than some of the other states' shape. Most of West Virginia's borders are shaped by mountains or rivers. Its wiggly western border is created by the Ohio River, while its winding eastern border is created by the Appalachian Mountains. So we only ride through here and I will not stop, but this is the historical town Hillsboro, which is supposed to be quite famous too. First I rode through Hillsboro, which lies in the Hillsboro Gap of the Short Hill Mountain and is the county's oldest incorporated town. Then my ride took me further to Charlestown, not to confuse with Charleston in South Carolina that I visited in the beginning of the epic East Coast journey. West Virginia's Charlestown was built by the Washington family within a mountain pass where the Shenandoah and Potomac rivers meet. And therefore Charlestown is not only famous for its historic sites, but as well for its beautiful outdoor landscapes. It seems like there are a lot of historic and pretty charming towns here in the area, but I will continue only a little further to a place that's called Harpers Ferry, and that was actually the most recommended place to visit when I asked you guys where to go in West Virginia. So I'm very curious. So I'm in this town now called Harpers Ferry, and it turned out that I'm not the only traveler here, because Harpers Ferry is very famous because here are a lot of hikers who stock up on food and have kind of like a very important stop of the hike here. Harpers Ferry is famous for several reasons. One of them because it is known as the psychological halfway point of the 2,178 mile or 3,505 kilometer Appalachian Trail. Hikers can get their supplies sent and all sorts of help at the Appalachian Trail Conservancy headquarters and visitor center. If you visit Harpers Ferry in spring or early summer like I did, the accommodations will be full with hikers who often have been on the trail already for more than 60 days. Harpers Ferry is situated right on the border where Maryland, West Virginia, and Virginia meet, at the confluence of Potomac and Shenandoah River. This junction of two rivers made it a natural site for commerce for centuries. Harpers Ferry is not only unique for being the midpoint of the Appalachian Trail, but is as well said to be one of the most beautiful and most historical towns of the US. That's why one of the main activities in Harpers Ferry is strolling through its old town streets and enjoying the special atmosphere. Thomas Jefferson called views from Harpers Ferry perhaps one of the most stupendous scenes in nature, and worth a voyage across the Atlantic. The part of Harpers Ferry close to the shores of the rivers is called the Harpers Ferry National Historical Park and is a walk down on History Lane. Nearly 500,000 people visit the Harpers Ferry National Historical Park each year. And indeed, Harpers Ferry is mostly known for John Brown's raid on Harpers Ferry, with John Brown and his followers on the one side and federal troops on the other. While the attack in 1859 failed and Brown was hanged shortly thereafter, it is said to have contributed greatly to the outbreak of the American Civil War in 1861. In 1944, Harpers Ferry National Historical Park was established. Today, Harpers Ferry is home to more than 125 historic homes built in the 1830s, which have been restored and are now inhabited by residents. Guys, I hope you traveled with me through the fog of Shenandoah National Park and, like me, enjoyed the bright views afterwards even more. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and comment. Next week I will have to take a big decision that will have an impact on the whole rest of my journey. And I will take you to Pennsylvania and the land of the Amish people, and together we will explore the Amish lifestyle and history. Like always, tune in next Thursday.